Hello, everybody. Welcome to the very first episode of the Nexus Project podcast. I am your host, your trustful safety host, Kevin Unfits So, this being the very first episode, I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there and just say, hey guys, this is who I am, this is what I'm hoping to accomplish with this, and where I want to go with all of this. So, for me, it's going to be a little bit more of a a community-based thing, and I want to give as much information as I can about, what the game, what the haps, all the fun stuff, all the patch notes, up and coming, whatever you might have, and just stuff like that. So that's what I'm here to do. That's what I'm here to accomplish. Please hang out with me every Tuesday night. So let's get it going. So. First and foremost, it is a little bit about who I am and what I have here. So I do have some specifics that I want to talk about because I am a connoisseur of sorts, in my opinion, of MMOs. I've played quite a bit of MMOs in my lifetime, going way back to just different MMOs. So first things first, why am I doing a Wildstar podcast? Well, I saw the game and I fell in love with it right away. I mean, I love the game. As soon as I saw it, I was like, I have to play this, and I just need to have it. And I just started playing it with the open beta, and I was like, well, this is really cool because it's not taking itself too serious at all. It's doing really funny, comical, cutesy, playful kind of things, and I really love that. The game, the developers are listening to the community, so that for me is just awesome. And as far as the game listening to communities, they're also being honest and being truthful about the development, about what they're going to do, and how they're going to make it even better for us. So there is a familiarity of this game, and I'm really been enjoying it. As far as the familiarity with it, it doesn't feel too much like World of Warcraft, but it's not so different that you can't put yourself into it and get used to it. And I think that's one of the things that I really appreciate about it. So. Those are the reasons why I want to do this. So hopefully we'll get to be a little bit more forward, and you guys can tell me what you like, what you don't like, and we'll go from there. So, who I am, why me? Why do I think that I'm the guy for the job? Well, I've played anything from Ultima Online, EverQuest 1 and 2, the Matrix Online. Yes, there was a Matrix Online game, so if you haven't played it, then oh well. It wasn't that great. It lasted they closed their doors, I think, after 6 months of launch. So I think that, playing both Final Fantasies, World of Warcraft, Guild Wars 2, Secret World, Elder Scrolls Online, and now I'm going to end up at a Wildstar. I think this game's it's got a lot of potential. It's got great ideas, great things are gonna happen. And I really think that's gonna be just a really good game. I think it's gonna be what the genre's been missing. And I think that with the way that these guys are pushing the game, listening to what we want, I think it's going great. I think it's really working. And I think that you couldn't ask for anything more. The amount of content that's going to come out of this game is ridiculous. I think that it's going to be just something that is going to be a lot of fun, and I want to be a part of that. I want to be pushing that, and I want to be talking about it. And most of all, I want the community behind each other. So far, I've loved the community. Everything about the community has been great, and I really can't complain too much. So. I already run another show, and I actually had to use my other show's channel, Late Night Gaming. That's also where you're going to find the website, latenightgaming.net, probably /Nexus Project. or Nexus project, and you're going to see a lot of that. I talk just about general video gaming, comic books, nerddom, stuff like that on the other show. So feel free to join me if you can as well there. So, what is this podcast going to be about? It's going to be all things Wildstar, from PvE to PvP to lore, crafting, all the things that we know this game has to offer. And if you guys want to know more, if you want to do segments or whatever, leave comments below or email at unfitgames. And if you want to email me at unfitgames@gmail.com, you're more than welcome to do that. So feel free. Alright, so one of the other things that I'm really interested in talking about is upcoming news, rumors, releases, and stuff. So that's probably some of the stuff that we're going to get talking about. We are going to talk about the latest patch notes during the show here, but and it's anything else that we can really scrounge up, whatever you guys want to talk about, and however you guys want to shape the show. This is a show based on community. The community for this game was fantastic. So, I personally love MMOs. It's one of my favorite genres to play. So, without further ado, I'd like to start talking a little bit about this game here. So, game background. I don't know if you know anything about the game. If not, awesome. If you do, correct me if I'm wrong, or ask questions if you don't understand something. So basically, there's an entire long lore thing to go through here, but I don't want to go through too much of it. Essentially, you're either Dominion or Exile, and there are races that are specific to that. And if you look to the top right here, these are some of the races. They're not all of them. I think there's 4 per side for the Exile and the Dominion. It's kind of funny because I was watching some of the videos today and I was noticing that they have the Cassian and they have the the humans. The Cassian and the humans are different from each other in the sense that they're just one's Exile, one's Dominion, and it's really cool that they look a lot alike. So you kind of get a basis between the both of them. Some more of them are just, if you just look right up here, there's some more here. I would go through them all, but that's not really what we're going to be talking about. But essentially, you have 2 warring factions. You have the Dominion versus the Exiles, and the Dominion are the type of race that are world domination. They come in, they stranglehold, they build large buildings, they just suck all the life out of a planet that they can get. So they're pretty much, if you want to think about it in the way of the evil guys. And then you have the Exiles, who there are a bunch of people from all over the galaxy who have been pushed from their homes and have nowhere else to go, so they find this planet called Nexus. Hence the name of the podcast, by the way. This is the Nexus Project. So as you're playing, you're starting to realize that these different factions have very, very, very different feels. Not just like in, say, World of Warcraft, where you had different feels because one was undead, one was orcish, one was very raw in your faces, and the other one was more, smooth lines and nice-looking characters and different things like that. So it's a little bit of a difference there because it's kind of hard to tell sometimes who's Dominion or who should be Dominion and who's Allied, and I really like that about the game so far. The exiled characters are there to kind of reclaim a home, and the Dominion have waged war on them and they're pushing them out. So this is kind of a little bit about what the game's about, and I don't really want to go too far into that particular thing, so I am going to go into a whole segment based on just that lore part of it. The one thing I want to talk about is the game starts. Well, for the pre-orders, the game starts May 31st. It'll be a 3-day head start for those of us who have purchased the game early, meaning we can go in and we can play like it's a live realm. They are live realms, so 3-day head start, and that'd be great. So the one thing that's coming right up, the one thing I really want to talk about right away, is Wildstar subscription model. Wildstar is doing something quite a bit different than anybody else, in the sense that they're giving you the opportunity to Say for instance, like if you're going to pay a subscription every month, and you don't have a whole ton of time to play, but you need that extra gold, well, you can go to Wildstar's online store, and you can buy something called creds. With creds, you get 30 days of an in-game usable item that you can give to somebody else. So I'm thinking about this. I'm looking at it, and I said, well, did Wildstar really just figure out a way to kill gold farmers, or will it hyperinflate the market and make it unobtainable to get them without actually going to buy them or paying a subscription anyway? Well, in order to answer those questions, we need to figure out what creds really are and how we get them, how they're going to obtain. So, as I was saying, it's an in-game consumable item that you will have, and it extends your game period for 30 days IRL time, in real life time. Players can buy these from the market store for real money, about $20, and then they can go sell them on the exchange. Now, when they're selling these on the exchange, it's based on the market needs, wanes, and waxes of that time period. So while you're kind of playing the game, you're going to figure out, hey, either I need to buy some of this to get some gold, or I need to go farm gold, or whatever it might be. So the cost of cred actually fluctuates based on the current player-to-player trade ratio on the server. With that being the case, I feel like the server's dictating what the price is for cred when you go to buy it and then sell it for gold on the market. So you're not going to go and just buy up a bunch of cred and then go sell it again on the market to actually turn a profit. I think it's going to be regulated by the actual servers based on numbers being crunched by the backside there. So one of the things that I kind of thought about was, are people going to mortgage their in-game houses just to get some more game time because they really don't want to pay that subscription? Or, are these people going to wait and, they're going to run out of time, they're forced to buy another subscription for 30 days, they can't get in the game unless they do so they actually go spend actual $20 real time to go and farm up another 30 days worth of cred? I don't know. I feel like this cred thing could cause issues. Now, this is one of the parts where I'd like you guys to weigh in. What do you guys think? What questions do you guys have about cred? What are your concerns about a company saying, hey, go to the in-store market if you have the extra money and you just want a little bit of gold, go to the in-store market, buy an item, and then go sell it on the CX is what they're calling it. They're calling it the commodities exchange. I, for one, as long as it's a really heavily regulated system, I think it would be great. I think it would be something that could be really good. So now that we know what cred is, how do we obtain it? Is it going to be death for the gold farmers, or is it going to be an hyperinflated market? Like I said, I for one personally think it's going to not, if done correctly, if these two. If they look at these and they manage it right, if they manage the cred correctly, they're going to control a lot of things. They're going to control the market, so it's not going to go hyperinflated, so that people who actually need to or want to farm gold to buy this cred, they can. And I think that if the devs really pay attention to how the algorithms are weighing out, okay, there's 300 people on the server, 200 of them are paying, 100 of them are using cred for their nightly, whatchamacallits, they're using cred for their monthly fees, then what is that really going to pay? Is it going to be an astronomical amount of gold that you can't get within 30 days if you try hard enough, or is it going to be dedicated? I'm gonna set a price, and if it doesn't sell, then I can put it back up for a different price, like an auction house type thing. If it's an auction house type thing, I think the gold farmers are going to take it over. I think they're going to put it up there. They're going to put it up for astronomical prices, and they're just going to buy anybody out below that. And they're going to make it so that you have no choice. Either you buy this largely priced cred for astronomical amounts of gold that you can only get from a gold farmer, or you farm up the gold and we're regulating it so much that you're not going to be able to farm up the gold, and you're not going to get anything out of it. You're going to waste time, and we'll go from there. I don't know. I feel like this is definitely on the fence. I'd have to see this in action in order to really tell you whether or not this cred system is actually going to put us into, throwing the gold farmers out or keeping the gold farmers in. What do you guys think out there? Let me know. Go ahead and submit your questions, and we'll go from there. So, moving on, there are some patch notes. These patch notes are from the 21st, so they're a little bit older. They haven't had any patch notes in the beta since. The first thing is ground mounts and hoverboards, or like hoverboards, are going to be able to double jump, which I think is really great. All the jump heights have been adjusted for the extra mechanics and for the extra animations as well. So, improvements to the client. So there's been some complaints that even I had with double tapping or multi-tapping or pressing and holding, depending on the movement and what you were doing at the time. A lot of times you would press and hold a button and it would click, and it would never, you wouldn't actually get to move, or it wouldn't actually pop up, and you'd be tapping on it and nothing would happen. So it was a client issue where the motion from your keyboard wasn't being captured by the game client well enough, so they actually fixed that issue, and they also sped up some of the data parsing. So what that's also going to do for the game client is allow more data to be passed quicker, and so thereby creating faster servers. They did fix some bugs in the last patch, and hopefully they do one more patch release notes right before launch so we can see, all right, hey, this has been plaguing us. Let's see if there's a fix for it yet. They did do some bug fix. The round robin loot mechanic actually was favoring one person in the run, so they did fix that, and they did fix some crash issues from the multi-thread animations when dismounting, the client knowing where your location is, so you're not crashing your client every time, as well as Elder Gems updating when the client does not know your location. So those are what I had for show notes today, and I really kind of dug deep into the cred pretty much, but I also want to talk a little bit more about lore in races. As far as lore and races go, I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed since I jumped into beta is I started playing a Chua. A Chua is a small little rodent type of creature here, and it is known as the kind of like the mousy kind of guy for the game here. So we're going to do this here. We're going to capture a screen region. And I'm just going to kind of talk about this a little bit here and show you some pictures. So these are the Chua folk. They are nearly brilliant as they are psychopathic. So when I was playing them, there's a lot of things like, oh, there's the Chua keeps getting in the way, and they're scientists, and they're having these really cool moments with, these really funny moments where they would say, oh, science isn't dangerous, but, death can occur or something weird. There's a lot of little quirky things like that you'll find. There's a lot of little fun little pieces in there about, lore from the game, flavor text, a lot of little fun, quirky things that I really like about it so far. So the Chua is going to be your kind of little rodent gnome type things. I really appreciate them for what they are because they don't feel annoying. In other MMOs that I've played, gnomes and goblins and stuff like that. In World of Warcraft, I've tried to play a gnome in Final Fantasy, or not Final Fantasy, but in a gnome in EverQuest, and I felt like they were just annoying to look at, and I really didn't like it. So I felt, when I was playing the Chua, I felt like the Chua was definitely a better feeling character class, a race. I didn't really feel like he was too overly annoying, and I felt like he was kind of fun to kind of hang out with and play around with. So the Dominion also have Draken, which are these kind of horned goat lizard-looking things that will tear your face off pretty much. They're pretty ferocious, not too brilliant. They're designed, or their whole idea behind them is they're not smart. They're huge, they're great DPSers apparently. The Makari apparently are the Elden's own creation. Now, to kind of give you an idea of what that means, Elden are a magical race that were on Nexus apparently that have just disappeared. And we don't know why they've disappeared. And that's part of the story. That's part of what they're going to portray, and hopefully you get to learn a lot more about it, and you're going to be a big part of that. But the Makari, or the Mechari, are said to be created by them specifically to help the Dominion and all the other fun stuff. So they are just gigantic robot-like people, and they're pretty cool. The Cassian are the wealthy, disciplined superiors. The Cassian are the humans of the Dominion faction. I mean, there's really nothing else to be said about that. They are literally the humans of the Dominion faction. There's that. So the exiles here, you have the human. They're the outcasts, the renegades. They're scruffy. They're down the scrap. They're down to get down and dirty with it. So they're really fun looking to play with. They definitely have that cartoony human feel. Bigger hands, bigger feet, things like that, but not too overdone. It's very tastefully done. The Granuk. Now these guys are specifically made out of rock. That's their whole thing. They're not too bright. They're fearless, and they're usually warriors and things like that. They're usually tank type characters, and if they don't have a hangover, then they didn't do it right the night before. So Arin are these small little scrappy tree hugger things. I think they're adorable. I really like the Arin race. I think they're, for what they are, they really give a cute sense and a sense of what's the word I'm looking for? Anybody out there? Innocence, a sense of innocence to the exile that I think really plays well with the exile, because, like I said, the exile are this class that are supposed to be exiled from their own homes, trying to make a planet their home on Nexus. And so the Arin really give you that cutesy, fluffy kind of feel. They have ears, they have tails, and they're really cute and cuddly. Now the Mordesh, they're pretty much... This is one of the classes that I get confused about. I'm confused on whether or not they should be Dominion or Exile. They look very Dominion-esque, but they're an Exile class. So these guys are like walking space zombies. They're intellectual, they're decomposing, they were playing around with too much alchemy, and they got mutated into these space zombies that have metal all attached to them. I think they look really cool. I'm not really too... I played a Mordesh for about a couple of levels as a spellslinger, and a spellslinger is a forward-shooting kind of DPS or healer. And I wasn't too really keen on the animations because they're very stagnant. I'm really hoping that's one of the things that they kind of push with the game here, is they change a little bit of the animations, because they got very annoying after a while, especially if every time I pulled out a gun, he'd flip it over his finger, and I was like, oh, that's cool, and then a couple minutes later I'm like, that's really not that cool, and I was pretty much done with it, like right away. So those are the races between the different factions there, and I love the art in here. I think it's great. So, with that being said, I am really not prepared for any other topics at this point. So, if you guys have any questions or anything you guys want to know about the game or know about the show, please do ask those in the comment section. One of the things that I'm going to start doing is I haven't picked my class yet, or not my class, but my servers yet. But feel free to join me on whatever server it is. There will be an upcoming website soon. I'm actually in the process of putting it together. I actually stopped to run this show tonight. There is a Google Plus page, a Facebook page, as well as it's going to have its own independent Twitter for just the show. And the Twitter is really only going to be there for the one sole purpose of it being to know what's going on with the show, what's up and coming, and to get your guys' feedback. So if you're going to be looking for any updates as well as the late night game is concerned, as the company or as the umbrella as a whole, you want to follow me on twitter.com/unfit right here on the bottom. You also would head over to Facebook and get a couple likes over there, follow over there, and go to YouTube, follow there as well. You'll see me most likely on Twitch a lot. I'll start streaming the video games, so my Twitch is twitch.tv/unfitgames, and we'll go from there. So thank you guys for joining, all of you who stuck around and watched the show. I'm going to keep these to a kind of a shorter episode until I get the format down a little bit more. So I am going to probably have a second person coming on this show, and we're going to be talking a lot about the game itself and what we're experiencing and how we're going with it. So enjoy the rest of your night, ladies and gentlemen. Join me Mondays at 10:30 for Late Night Gaming podcast. That is our open gaming video game and nerd and movie and whatever you can think about, we kind of put in that show there. And then this is the Nexus project. That's the new Wildstar episodes that we're going to be running here about once a week. So thank you for joining me, and as always, enjoy the rest of your night. And I'm really excited for Saturday. I'm really excited to see you guys out there in the game. So have a good night.